Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. Today we continue with how to improve your spoken English. So today we do part 2 in this series. If you haven't watched part 1, please watch that first. So before I start, I want to answer a question that a viewer asked, and the question was, can we be 100% like kids? Because kids have no personality issues. Yes, that viewer is right. We cannot be 100% like kids. But my point is, try to learn like a child as much as you can. So we know that yes, kids have no personality issues. We have personality issues, but I have a solution for that. Like we have an ego, and we have ego issues, and those ego issues like prevent us from using or speaking more and more English. So what you should do, you should convert your ego into an egg and break it. If you manage to do that, you will be a successful language learner. Some learners do that, and if you do it as well, you will be, yes, an effective, proficient language learner. With that, yes, let's start today's video. Today I'll give you 5 more tips. Again, they all relate to the same theme, learn like a child. So the first tip is do some language activity daily. Do some language activity daily, preferably listening and speaking, of course, because this is what children do. They use their language daily, they listen to it daily, they speak it daily. What do, on the other hand, second language learners do? Well, they mostly use their language in class only, and even in class there is the use of their first language as well. There is attendance by the teacher, there are other activities in the class. So second language learners generally use second language like English, for example, less and less. But if you want to be a successful language learner, you have to take English outside the class. You have to take your learning outside the classroom, and you have to use it more and more in order to be a successful language learner. The next tip is treat English or treat a second language that you are learning, treat English like a living entity. This is what children do. Children treat English or treat their first language as a living entity. They use it to get things done. But what do second language learners, on the other hand, do? Well, they treat it as an academic subject. But if you treat it as an academic subject only, and your only concern is to pass the paper because English is on the syllabus, or pass this test, or you're only concerned about learning a few phrases because you're going to have an interview and you just want to pass that interview, it's in English, so you're not likely to be a proficient speaker. In order to be a proficient speaker, you have to take your language learning outside your classroom, and you have to use it in the real world, and you have to do it on daily basis. So you can do that with your friends and your family members. You can do it online as well with different learners from different parts of the world. The next tip is the third tip. Consider English a do or die for yourself. As far as a child is concerned, for a child, his or her first language is a do or die for him or her, because the life of a child depends on that language. The child has to learn that language to get things done in the real world. So for a child, it's a do or die. But what about us? For us, English, is it a do or die for us? I would say yes. Professionally speaking, English is a do or die for us. If you want to grow academically, you have to learn English. There is no other way. Or if you want to grow professionally, so we have to learn English. So it is a do or die for us. So the better we learn it, the earlier we learn it, the better. So yes, for children it's a do or die, their first language. English is a do or die for us as well. So we know that if we want to be successful in our education or in our profession, we should learn English. And We should learn it as early as we can. The fourth tip is especially if you're a beginner learner, but it applies to all levels of learners except advanced learners or maybe upper intermediate learners. Try when you're learning a new language, like you're learning English. So what do you think? Should you try to be fluent first, or should you try to be accurate first? Which one should you do first? Well, again, we can go back to a child's first language learning situation and see what a child does. So a child tries to be fluent first. There are mistakes initially in the language of a child, but the child doesn't mind that. The child tries to be fluent first. And it takes the child quite a while. So we should also prioritize fluency first. And of course, accuracy after that. So fluency first and accuracy later. So I'm not saying accuracy is not important. Of course, accuracy is important. But fluency should come first, because this is what a child does. A child tries to be fluent first. And the next and the last tip is be patient. Be patient. Language learning takes a lot of time. Even in the case of a child who is the best learner of a language, it takes a child years and years to master his or her first language. So what about us? It will take us probably years. Yes, yeah, you can speed up your learning process by doing more and more practice. Yeah, you can even be proficient or fluent in months, but generally speaking, second language learning takes a lot of time, especially speaking. So the last tip is be patient, because learning takes time. That's it we have for today. 5 tips. Let me recap. The first tip is do some language activity daily. Do some language activity daily. The second tip is treat English as a living entity. Don't treat it only as an academic subject. That's the second tip. The third tip is consider English a do or die for yourself. English is a do or die for us. That's the next tip. The fourth tip is prioritize fluency over accuracy. Prioritize fluency over accuracy. And the last tip is be patient. Be patient. Well, that's it we have for today. I hope you liked all these tips, and I'm sure you're trying to follow these tips. So before we leave, please like, share and subscribe to my channel and ring that bell for more notifications. See you.